Welcome back, guys, to the part two, the last part of the games I beat from 2015. We left off, the first part we did games 1 through 20, and now we're going to do games 21 to 40. Hopefully it'll probably be another 20-minute video, so we'll see what happens. But I'm glad I took a break, because, oh my god, my throat was getting a little tickly. So I don't think I would have lasted the whole 40 minutes, let alone you guys watching it the whole time. Anyway, let's continue. The 21st game, toward 21. The fuck, it's not a place. Jesus Christ. It's not like we're winning the fucking Olympics. Wolfenstein the Old Blood for PS4. This game was... It was like, I guess 3/4 of the length of the New Order, because usually it was just basically not an add-on, but kind of a sequel-ish type game. So it wasn't really, I don't think it was meant to be like a full game. But basically a rehash of the original PC version, crammed into like 9 levels pretty much. Story was good. It was, I beat the game on like the hardest difficulty, as I did with the New Order. There were some parts that were hard to get by, but like I said, with the New Order, once you figured it out, it wasn't that bad. Actually, a funny story is, I think the one part where you're on like the boat or something, and you're going down like the river. That part, I literally played that part. I was streaming it too on Twitch. I was playing that for a good 2 hours, and I couldn't beat it. I was just fed up. I was like, so what the fuck? Like, how am I gonna get? It's impossible to get past this part on uber difficulty. So I paused the game. I'm like, let me look up a video, see what happened. And here, little did I know is. There's a turret on the boat, but it runs out of ammo. Little did I know is I think if you keep it mounted, it has infinite ammo, and I always dismounted it so there would be an ammo counter. So I saw the video. The guy had it mounted the whole time, and he's just killing everything, nothing's hitting him. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I didn't know that. So. Yeah, I just had it mounted, and I had limited ammo, and I got past that part first try. I was like, oh my god, it was kind of oh my god, what a goofy moment that was. Anyway, the 22nd game I beat was Ratchet & Clank, from the Ratchet & Clank collection, or on PS3. This game is a fun 3D platformer. It was decent length to beat it. There were some parts that were quite frustrating. I mean, to me, I thought. The storyline, I didn't think, actually, didn't come together till towards the end of the game. A couple of things I didn't like was the checkpoint system was rather lacking of the game. I think they could have done with more of them, because I would get basically to the end of where a checkpoint would be and die, and I have to do the part all over again. It was just so frustrating. Especially, I'm sure Corey would vouch for me, the final boss. They should have had a checkpoint at the last formation of them, because you had to beat them 3 different times. And the first 2 are fine. It's simple. But that third time, they should have a checkpoint right there, because it was just a pain in the ass. Oh my god. But other than that, it was a pretty fun game. And the 23rd game was Desert Strike for the Sega Genesis. It's a neat little flying helicopter simulation game. Very strategic. I mean, my friend and I, we used the Retron 5 with the cheat codes, but if you're playing it without cheat codes, you definitely have to be very strategic and know where everything is in the game, like fuel, like ammo, armor. Because it's all planned out, like, and you have to make sure you can meet all your objectives without basically dying. And you can easily die if you run out of fuel, or if you enter a bunch of and encounter a bunch of enemies, and let's say your armor is low. You have to know where you can go around to get armor, and you have to worry about your fuel. It's just crazy. But other than that, it was a fun game. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that, I guess. 24th game was Jurassic Park Part 2, The Chaos Continues for the Game Boy. This game is basically like the original over-the-top Jurassic Park for the Game Boy and NES, but it's like a side-scroller. It's a pretty challenging, definitely a challenging game without using save states. Like, because it's basically one of those games where when you die, you start from the beginning. There's like no checkpoint in between. And I would have never been able to beat it if I never used save states. That's crazy. But it's basically your objective of the game is collecting these goofy Jurassic Park cards in order to progress in the game, which is kind of silly. But yeah, that's basically basically all you do in the game. So it's still rather fun, but it can be frustrating as well. 25th game was Disney's Aladdin for the SNES. This game which is funny because I thought like all the Disney games were the same throughout all the consoles. That is not the case, at least with Aladdin, because this game was developed by Capcom as opposed to the Genesis version being developed by Virgin. The attack mechanic in the game was very odd. Where you basically have to jump on your enemies to defeat them, which is kind of weird. I mean, sometimes the hit detection is off, which gets me frustrated, or anyone playing the game. But once you get used to it, it's not that bad. But you have apples, and I'm so used to playing the Genesis version where the apples actually kill the enemies. This game is not the case, it just stuns them. But, and it's, to get items, you see, like, jars throughout the game. So you basically have to jump on the jar, and he does, like, a handstand to open it, and then the item pops out, which is really stupid. Why can't they just have the fucking item there? Why do you have to jump on a fucking jar to get the item? So fucking stupid. But yeah, that's basically, once you get used to the whole killing the enemies, of jumping on them and jumping on the jars to get items, it's really quite an easy game, especially for being a Capcom game, because mostly Capcom games are notorious for being rather challenging. The 26th game was The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the original Game Boy. And this was another Game Club's game that I beat. It was a fun Zelda game. It took a little getting used to, because I thought it was kind of, one silly aspect was there's Mario Brothers that they throw in there, which I thought was kind of weird. I'm like, what the hell are Mario Brothers doing in a fucking Zelda game? That's like, you never see Zelda characters in a Mario Brothers game. What the hell gives? But I ended up using since it was a Games Club's game, which we usually have like a month to beat, I used the online guide for like, I think 75% of the game, because I never played the game before. So I would have been lost completely. I was lost right from the beginning. And there's actually stuff that I missed in the beginning that I had to basically backtrack all the way over to get, because there's parts where you have to do trading, which I think that's probably the one annoying aspect of the game that I didn't like, was the whole trading thing. I thought that was kind of stupid, because it didn't really give you a whole clear direction of what the hell you had to do. And it was kind of irritating. Also, like, the weapon, like, switching between weapons got kind of tedious at times. Like, I don't know. I thought some of the items you didn't need to be switched upon, but I guess because of the 2-button controls, they're really limited. That's the only other reason I can think of them doing that. I don't know, but overall, it was a fun game. Definitely, like, I don't think it's definitely not like a main part of the Zelda, but it was fun to play, I thought. The 27th game was Jungle Strike. This game was fun. It was slight improvement over Desert Strike, but the story was actually well written too, and of how it continues from Desert Strike into Jungle Strike. 28th game was Super Ghouls and Ghosts for the Super Nintendo. I ended up beating this game using save states on the Retron 5. It's probably my favorite version of any of like the Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and Ghosts type of games. Mostly because the music in the game is outstanding. It's like crazy, like how amazing the music is in the game. Being able to do the double jump is pretty neat as well, since I don't think any of the others allow you for a double jump. What else? And there's like some slowdown in the game, which actually works to your advantage because you can easily maneuver around enemies. But other than that, like the animation and everything was like great. I only beat it. I just used save states, but I only beat like the first run. I got to like the second run, like on the boss of level 2, and it's just impossible. I just gave up. I'm like, fuck this game. I beat it once. That's all I care about. The 29th game was Alan Wake for the original Xbox. It was a good game. Definitely took some time getting used to be honest. I didn't realize it until like towards the end of the game that there's a lot of enemies you can just... I think there's some parts where you can just run past the enemies and not even deal with them. Excuse me, but the one thing that really sucked about the game was you have to buy the downloaded content in order to finish the game, which was fucking annoying because I beat the game and I was like, what the hell happened? Like, this is it? This makes no sense. It didn't fucking finish. So yeah, so more on that further down. The 30th game I beat was another Strike game, Urban Strike for the Sega Genesis. It's the third and final installment on the 16-bit consoles. Just like with Jungle Strike, it was slight improvement in graphics. Storyline was good. And they also what did I write there? You could control the pilot as well, which was pretty cool. There was some like stages where you actually went down and you were like the pilot and you rescued hostages. There was a nice twist on the usual game, which I thought was neat. And 31st game was Toy Story for Sega Genesis. This game is fucking impossible. It's like ridiculous. The only reason I beat it is I ended up using save states. I was playing on the Retron 5, and it's funny because I was like, yeah, I'm just beating the game using save states, and Kevin was saying, oh, why are you cheating? You shouldn't be cheating. You should do it official and play it all the way through. I'm like, no way. Like, this game's hard. And he was like, I beat it. And little did he know, he's like, I beat it in February. And little did he know, he actually used the level skip. I'm like, well, looks like you cheated as well. So he agreed with me that, yeah, it's impossible, and the only way to actually beat it is using save states. Or level skip. It's freaking crazy. Especially the last part was insane. And I hated... I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but the last part, it kind of like messes with you where you basically kill yourself. And I'm sure if you ever played, you'll understand, oh yeah, I remember that part. What a pain in the ass that was. But that once you got used to it, it wasn't that bad. Right, the 32nd game continuation of Alan Wake was the first DLC, which was called Special One: The Signal. It was the first downloaded content. I think I mentioned that. What the fuck? It continues the main story where it left off, so you know what the hell is going on. And this one, you basically, it's called The Signal because you're basically following a GPS the whole time to get out of the quote-unquote dark place. I would tell you more about it, but I don't want to give away any spoilers. But I didn't actually buy the download content. I'm going to be real with you guys. I just watched an entire playthrough of this, and the next one's the second one of someone playing it from beginning to end on YouTube, because I'm not going to spend that kind of money on the fucking downloaded content. That's ridiculous. Like, I bought the game, I should get the whole experience. And it's kind of weird, because, you know, usually Microsoft or whatever, they come out with, like, Ultimate Editions, which include DLCs. It's like the game, like Borderlands has done it. I think Fable has done it with the Ultimate Edition, where they have the DLC and everything on the disc. They have never done that with Alan Wake, which makes no sense. You would think, like, hey, you have downloaded content that you need to finish your story. Why don't you put it on the disc? Anyway, enough rambling about that. Because this video is going to get long. Shit. Might be more than 20 minutes. I apologize. 33rd game was Alan Wake. Special 2 is the writer, which is the second download content. It continues, obviously, where after the first download content, after you get out of the dark place, you have to basically find an irrational version of yourself. That version of Alan Wake is actually keeping them in the dark place. So you want to find them in order to officially get out. I would say more about it, but you know, I don't want to spoil anything. Just watch the YouTube video and enjoy that. Save yourself some money. The 34th game was DJ Hero 2 for the Xbox 360. This game is pretty cool. It offers more variety from the original game. And it's kind of weird. I don't know why. I don't think that many people like this game as opposed to the original. I mean, maybe it might have been the track listing. But I personally enjoyed the game. And I don't know if the first one you can use 2 DJ like turntables, but in the second one you can, which I haven't done because my other turntable was all in the box and I didn't feel like taking it out. But the songs are good, except I mean, like, obviously, I think the track listing of the first one was quite better, but it's still a fun game to play, in my opinion. 35th game was Haunting Ground for the PlayStation 2, and just like the Alan Wake DLC, I ended up watching an entire playthrough of this on YouTube. Mostly because the game is rare and fucking expensive. I'm not going to pay over $100 just to play this game. I mean, I don't know if it lowers in price. Maybe I might pick it up, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. But it was shut up, damn dogs. The game is very different from your usual survival horror type games. You have no weapons in the game. You basically just have this dog that you trust, and it's kind of weird. You basically have to like earn his trust. You have to like play with him, and you know, he has like, I think he has like an emotional meter or something in the game. But he's basically a companion. There are 4 types of enemies that like stalk you throughout the game, and once they find you, you basically just have to hide until they, you know, fuck off and leave. But the atmosphere is quite creepy, kind of similar to Amnesia in a way. Obviously, and also you're in a castle. From watching the game, I would recommend picking it up if it, I don't know, if it ever gets lower in price. But or if you get lucky and find it in a thrift store or whatever, I definitely highly recommend picking it up. But at this time, actually, you can get I saw one on a couple on eBay. They go for around 85, like complete, which I guess isn't too bad. But to some, it's like, oh fuck that, it's ridiculous. But that's basically it for that game. Oh my god, we're at 20 minutes. Shit. All right, I gotta hurry up. Oh my god. 4 more left. Okay. 36 game was Prey for Xbox 360. This game is basically like, I would consider it as a Doom mixed with like Turok in a way. It was a great first-person shooter. It had various puzzles in the game that you had to figure out, and some were quite challenging. Some were kind of like Portal-esque in a way, because they made you think pretty much. And I was like, what the hell do I have to do? And I figured out. I was like, oh, okay. The game isn't fully, kind of like Ratchet and Clank. It's not fully explained until like towards the end of the game. And basically, when you beat it, it basically tells you, hey, there's going to be a Prey 2, which hasn't been released yet as of this recording. So I guess we'll just pray until Prey 2 comes out. So we'll never know if it'll ever see the light of day. The 37th game I beat was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein for the Sega Genesis. I basically just popped this in because I used to be amazing at this game back in the day. I played this game nonstop when I had the Genesis, like as a kid, and I would run right through it and beat it like it was no problem. I still kind of remembered so I was like, oh, let me try and see if I remember anything. I sort of remembered like some of the levels, but some of the bosses, I was like, oh shit, how do I get past this part? And there's tricks to all the bosses, like how to avoid their attacks. Because most of the times, if you hit them once, and like it basically kills you in one hit. So there's ways where you can like position yourself in the level where you can hit them and they can't really do damage to you. But other than that, towards the end, like the last level of the game, I had to end up using a YouTube walkthrough because I couldn't figure out where I was going. And it gets kind of like maze-like in a way, and then you have to figure out like what the hell to do, and you have to get certain items, and you have to open up certain doors. And if you open up other doors, like you can screw yourself royally, and you have to start over again, which kind of sucks. But it's a fairly short game. There's only 6 levels. The controls, some downfalls is the controls to the game are very shoddy. The hit detection sucks ass. And that's basically it for that game. Alright, the 38th game I beat was Resident Evil 6 for Xbox 360. And a lot of people hate this game, like with a passion. Personally, for me, I thought it was alright. I ended up playing as Chris Redfield's campaign on normal. After the Chapter 2 is when the game started to get interesting and like it was kind of fun. But I think it's cool how you can play like 4 different characters to give it more replayability in a way. But for me, I think it was a lot better than Resident Evil 5. But of course, I can't give a definite answer to that because I haven't played Resident Evil 5 in ages, like when it first came out. But this one had more of a zombie-like eerie atmosphere. And there was still action. But yeah, I enjoyed it. A lot of people hated it, but for me, I would choose this over Resident Evil 5. Next up was the 39th game was Soviet Strike for the PS1. The game is a continuation of Urban Strike for Genesis or Super Nintendo, whatever you played it on. The graphics are definitely dated. Oh man. But it's definitely a challenging one. We end up, my friend and I, we ended up using the codes again. We used Infinite Lives and infinite ammo to help beat the game. One of the things I really hated about the game was the quote unquote failed mission scenarios, which you do if you don't do like a certain part of the mission in time, or if someone dies, then you're done. You have to start the level all over again. So you could be on the very last mission. I think there's like you average 6 missions to each level. You could be on the 6th mission, you do some bullshit and you die. You have to start that all over again. It's just so frustrating. What a load of shit that was. Unbelievable. But I think the next game we're going to play this year was Urban Strike. I mean, not Urban Strike. Nuclear Strike. I don't think they have that. But, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I hope they don't have that. And finally, shit, 25 minutes. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. This is way longer than I expected. It's a good thing I broke it up. Fucking A. Alright, last game. Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 2. Oh my God, this game, everyone loves this game. I thought it was alright. It's definitely challenging with respect to where they throw like tons of enemies at you all at once, and you basically just have to be strategic with it. And I beat this because I sucked at it. I tried Resident Evil 4 and I couldn't get past the first part. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what to do. I end up using watching some a let's play of it on YouTube, and I would like follow that in order to get through the game, which helped, and ended up not being too bad. But this game basically is the first game. Obviously, everyone knows it's the first game that breaks away from survival horror aspect and the zombies. But the only thing I would consider like that they keep would be the mutation, and which is called a plagus, when like they kill an enemy and their head would explode and a goofy thing would basically be reincarnated, and the fucking goofy thing tries to attack. And they were a pain in the ass. There's like, I think there's 3 or 4 different types of those in the game, throughout the game. Yeah, the storyline was rather decently written. Leon's humor was kind of very goofy. Oh my God. I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but the funniest part was at the very end. I don't know if anyone like knows what I'm talking about, but that part was just goofy. I'm like, oh my God, I was just shaking my head at that part. Oh boy, everyone watching is probably like, shit, what the hell is he talking about? Well, you don't have to play it. Just watch like the end of a Let's Play on YouTube. Come on, it's 2016 now. You don't have to go back and play the whole game over again. It's so fucking, I don't know, fucking 2000. So that is it, guys. All 40 games I've beaten. The only reason I decided to do this is because I usually don't beat a whole lot of games throughout the year. But I just ended up like getting time, and especially me, I work full time. I have my daughter and girlfriend that lives with me, so we're always busy, especially like on the weekends. So I really don't get that much time to play. I mean, like right now is where I get time to play on Friday nights and Tuesday night when my friend comes over. That's basically it, really. Other than that, like, I really don't have time. I have no idea how I beat 40 games within a year span. That's outrageous. I didn't really log it until around June. I was like, man, I beat a lot of games, and it's only halfway throughout the year. So that's why I was like, you know what, let me try logging this. And actually, I was aiming for 50 games, which obviously I didn't do, but it was a nice goal. It's definitely rewarding, I would say. I don't know if I'm going to aim for 50 this year. I'm kind of like, I guess burning out from beating all those 40 games, but I enjoyed it. I mean, maybe I'll do 40 next year. Who knows? But anyway, guys, I don't want to keep you. Oh my God, the total has been like 50 fucking minutes total. Ooh. Oh man. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video. It's MT Shark 7 signing out. Have a good night. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments or whatever. Let me know what games you beat in 2015. Anyway, guys, I'm done rambling. Have a good night. MT Shark 7 signing out.